This video will cover how to create reports in Salesforce. You might want to create a report if you need to see your data in a meaningful fashion, if you need to export it to Excel, or even if you need to build a dashboard, a report needs to exist. So to find reports, look on your horizontal navigation bar, and if you don't see it, it might be under More. And just as a general guide, you can start with creating a new report. This will actually take you to a screen where you can select the type of data you're looking to report on. Because this list is quite exhaustive, you can potentially start typing in some keywords. For example, if you wanted a report on your deals, you could click in here and type in deals, and you'll see that the results acclimate to that. And so let's just pick just deals, none of these other deals here. And click on deals and continue. And you'll get a list of the data that's in your system. There are really two key things that are required when you're building a report. The first one is to decide if you need to add any filters so that this list is really showing you what you need to. If you look here, you could see that there's my deals, my own versus maybe anyone else's, any other colleagues or users in the system. And then the actual close date is all time. So let's say, for example, you might want to filter it only on the open deals. I just happen to know that the filter here of the field is called status. So you would click into filter, type in the field name. In this example, it's status, and then select what statuses you want to show. Do you only want to show open ones? Do you only want to show one ones? And in this example, I just want the open deals. Click the value, click apply, and then it should change the results here. If I wanted to add any other filters, obviously you could see here as you click, these are all of the field names, and you can decide what other fields you might want to report on. In this example, I'll just leave it as open, and then on the side here, you'll see fields and it's collapsed, and if you click on it, you're expanded. And what this field does is not really a filter, but this is the field that you'd want to add as a column to this report. As of right now, you're only seeing the deal name, which is not likely to be sufficient. Potentially you want to add estimated close date. So you could just type ahead here, and again, it filters the results. You can double click or click and drag the field over to the report on the right. Estimated close date, potentially you want to add who the client is. Again, double click or click and drag. And when you drag, you could drag it to the respective location that you need. Maybe you also want client contact, potentially if there is a property involved, and maybe the gross deal value. It does require that you have a good intimate knowledge of what the field names are in order to be able to really have this exercise be effective for you. And let's say this is really all I need. I could save it right away. I will say that one of the more common things that is used, especially if you want this to be on a dashboard for your open deals, is that a dashboard is really an X and Y axis and requires that you plot data in a fashion that makes sense. So we'll need to group one of these columns. And having done this for a while, I could tell you it would make sense to either group it by property, so you're seeing all the deals for that given property, or group it by estimated close date. So in this example, if I wanted to do estimated close date as the grouping, I would click on this header on the drop down here. Note what options are available. I could remove it if I decided I didn't need to. I could move it to the left to reorder it, or I could group. And so that's what I'll do. I'll group it. And so what that does is it takes away the column from the far right, moves it to the left, and now groups it. But this might be a little too detailed because it's the month and the date and the year, and maybe I just want it to be by month. So then you can click on this drop down again and say group date by calendar month. And now it'll change the group it and bucket them by the month. Obviously, you could even go a step further and say by year, which would then show you all the years that you've got deals that are still open. But I'll go back and change it to month because I think that makes the most sense. Okay, and then at this point I could save and then call it my open deals. We could say grouped by month just so it stands out. Decide if it should only be visible to you, which is what a private report is, or public report, which would just mean it's viewable by all, but only if those who can see your deals would be able to see the report. So if someone cannot see your deals, making it public will not change that. We'll go ahead and save. And really the final step after save is to run it, which will change how it looks a little bit. It'll look a bit more modern. So by looking at this, I could tell you we've got 441 open deals. 134 of them do not have any estimated close date populated. That's why they look like this. And then as we move past the 134, we've got 2 in 2014, 3 in 2015 of June. Obviously, this is a bit stale data. And then as you just move down, you can see that the dates get more and more advanced, so that now that we're in 2019, there are 48 open deals. So of course, you can say, well, I only want it to show the 2019 deals and nothing older than that. You can actually go back to edit. And in this case, it would actually be a filter. We want to now add a second filter. So go back to filters, and we're going to type in EST for estimated close date. And probably what we want here, just to give you an idea, because we are playing with dates, is greater than or equal, and I'll use a relative date, which instead of an exact date like 2/19/2019, it's a relative date. And you can see what that means: yesterday, last week, next 30 days. And I'll put this year and apply. And just like magic, you'll notice that everything now is only showing 2019. So I'll just save that again and run it. And now, obviously, the record count has dropped from 400 and something to 155, and it's only showing me those that are set to close in 2019. From here, I could also export to Excel. So when you click on export, you can decide if you wanted to keep this formatting in the background or just be a regular spreadsheet with details and no formatting. The other thing you can do that's really helpful is subscribe. What subscribe does is actually pushes this report to you in an email on the cadence that you select. So if you want this this report email to you, you could pick when and what day and what time and decide who it should be sent to, perhaps you and a manager or just you. And then instead of you having to log in and look at the report gets emailed to you. Finally, as a sort of last bonus step, I presumably might want to take this report and put it on a dashboard. So I'll go to the Dashboards tab and I'll pick a dashboard. You might have just one, and that's fine. And let's say this is a standard broker dashboard. I can edit it and then add plus component. And what this is going to do is essentially show you a list of the reports that are available. So there it is, because it's the most recently viewed one. So I'll select it and click on select. And now you could play around with how that report is visually shown to you as a bar graph or a circle or a funnel. It just largely depends. And so if this is the most useful to me, then I could just leave it at that. You notice that you could do some summation. In this case, it's summing the gross deal value versus the record count, right? So the record count shows you how many records versus the dollar value. And really just the rest of it is more on the administrative side of how you want that dashboard to look, light or dark, etc. And then if we're done with that, we could just click add, and then it essentially adds itself to the dashboard. You can drag and drop that component up if you need it to go to the very top. You just continue to do that to replace the widgets and save. And done. So just another last note about this. We see this dashboard, but obviously, as much as this is useful, you'll want to click on View My Report so that you really get the detail, and this will actually bring us back to the very same report that we had been building. So that's it. Hopefully this helps you get an idea of how to build a report, create it, group it, and then add it to a dashboard.